This is the Chassidic Story Project with Barak Hullman, podcasting from Jerusalem, Israel. To become a supporter of this podcast, please go to HasidicStory.com, HASIDIC story.com. You'll never know, you'll never know, you'll never know, you'll never know. It was a regular weekday night, and the Holy Rebbe, the Abder Rav, called his Chassidim together to make a little Farbrengen and have a feastele, a little feast. The Chassidim were always happy to have a feast with their Rebbe, but eventually they wanted to know, so Rebbe, what's this feast about? And here's the story that the Abder Rav told. Many years ago, there was a wealthy Jew who decided that he was going to take half of his fortune and invest it in a kos shel Eliyahu, and the cup for Elijah the prophet, that everybody uses at the Seder on Seder night. This was a magnificent cup with diamonds on it and a gold rim made out of a beautiful silver. He really put a lot of his heart and soul into it and a great deal of his fortune into it. And he and his wife decided that they were going to use it for their Seder. They used it the first year for the Seder, but unfortunately, by the time the second year came around, they had lost all of their money. The husband said to his wife, "We have to sell the kos shel Eliyahu, Elijah's cup." And the wife said, "What are you talking about? We're not going to sell the cup. It's not even our cup. It's Elijah's cup. We can't sell it." He said, "Well, it's very nice to have this cup, but what's the cup worth if we don't have a Seder? Can't even afford to buy matzah, wine, food, anything. So we're going to have this big cup on the table and nothing else?" The wife said, "Nothing doing. We're not selling the cup. It's Elijah's cup." They went back and forth, and now it's the morning of the Seder, just before the holiday starts. And the husband says to his wife, "No, come on, let's sell the cup." And she said, "It's not our to sell." He said, "Fine, well, we don't have anything at home, so I'm going off to shul." The husband went off to shul, and the wife started cleaning the house. There was nothing to do anyhow. She put a nice tablecloth on the table, put a few plates on the table and some silverware, and just waited for a miracle to happen. And just then, there was a knock on the door. The wife goes and answers, and there's this very distinguished-looking gentleman, obviously a Jew, standing there, and he says, "My lady, I came to be with you and your holy husband for the Seder." She said, "Well, that's very nice. We'd love to host you, but we don't have any money, and we don't have any food for the Seder. We don't even have matzot." The wealthy man said, "That's not a problem." And he drops a little bag of gold coins on the table. He said to the woman, "Please go to the marketplace and buy everything you need. Buy it quickly so that we'll have everything in time for the Seder. I'm going to go off to shul, and I'll be back here in time for the Seder." So the wife runs off, and she buys everything she needs, prepares the food. She has this beautiful feast, and her husband comes home from shul. He comes home really late, because he didn't expect anything to be at home. And he sees the house is lit up with candles, and there's this incredible smell of the food, and he walks in and he sees a table fit for a king. He says to his wife, "How did you do that?" And of course, in the middle of the table is still the cup of Eliyahu Navi. He said, "How did you do that?" And she said, "Well, you won't believe it. Just when you left, this wealthy man knocked on the door. He gave me all this money, and he said he's going to come here for the Seder." So the husband said, "No, let's start. It's already late at night, and I'm starving." The wife said, "No, we have to wait for the wealthy man to come." Waiting. It's already getting later. Now it's 20 minutes before midnight, and everybody knows you have to finish the Afikoman before midnight. So they quickly go through the Seder, and they start the meal. And when they finally get to the point where they're supposed to invite Eliyahu Navi to come in and drink from the cup, the husband tries to get up from his chair, but he's so tired, he puts his head down on the table and falls asleep. And as soon as he falls asleep, there's a knock at the door. The wife goes and answers the door. And who's standing there? None other than the wealthy man. The wife says, "Where have you been? We've been waiting for you for so long." He said, "My lady, you don't know who I am. I'm Eliyahu Navi, and because you didn't want to sell my cup, you merited that I would come to your Seder." And so he comes in, and he drinks from his cup. And she says to him, "But what about my husband?" Eliyahu Navi says, "Well, he wanted to sell my cup, so he doesn't get to see me." And the two of them spent some time together learning some Torah, and the woman asked for blessings for her husband and her family. And then Eliyahu Navi left, and the husband woke up. The husband said, "I don't know what came over me. I don't know why I'm so tired all of a sudden. But now I should get up and open the door for Eliyahu Navi." The wife said, "Too late. He already came." The husband said, "What do you mean he already came?" And she explained to them the whole story, and how since she didn't want to sell the cup, she merited to see Eliyahu Navi. The years passed, and eventually the husband left this world. He was called up to the holy Beit Din upstairs, the court upstairs, and he was judged for his actions in this world. He lived a life of Torah and mitzvot, so they said, "You're going into heaven, you're going to Gan Eden." But standing at the gate was Eliyahu Navi, and Eliyahu Navi said, "Not while I'm here. For somebody to go into heaven, you have to have at least enough belief in Eliyahu Navi." And if you don't believe in me, then you don't deserve to go to heaven. So the Beit Din didn't know what to do. They said, on the one hand, he's not guilty because he didn't do things wrong, he did things right. And on the other hand, Eliyahu Navi won't let him in. So they made him sit outside the gate. 4 years later, the Rebbetzin passes away. She gets up to heaven, and all the tzaddikim and all the great prophets, and Eliyahu Navi himself comes to escort her into heaven. And she says, "Where's my husband? How come everybody came to escort me and my husband's not here? Where is he? What's going on?" So they said, "Oh, no, don't worry about him. He's doing fine." She said, "I am worried. I want to know, where's my husband?" So eventually she understood that Eliyahu Navi wasn't going to let him in. And she said, "Well, if he's not going in, I'm going to stay with him." And so she went and planted herself outside of the gate. And the two of them sat there for many, many years. And this is, of course, the Apter Rav telling the story. And the Apter Rav says, "Just the other day I saw Eliyahu Navi. And I said to him, 'Eliyahu, isn't it time you let that couple in?' And Eliyahu promised me that yes, enough time had passed. And because I requested, today he was going to let them in. And so that's why I'm making the feastale. That's why I'm having this Farbrengen together with you Chassidim, in order to welcome the holy couple finally into Gan Eden."